Welcome to this week's Box of Rocks video. These are rocks from Lake Superior mostly, and I do see a few that are from Lake Huron also mixed in here. So let's take a look. This first one is a rock that I find quite a bit of, but I don't bring very much of it home. But when I'm up in Lake Superior looking for agates, this stuff really sticks out. Even underwater, it just looks different than the other rocks. It's kind of translucent and just catches my eye. So I tend to pick them up. I kind of know better now, but I still just can't resist the urge to pick them up. They don't always tumble all that well. This one's pretty good, but sometimes they have a band of stuff in there that's a little, I don't know, just undercuts or something. I forget exactly what happens, but there's a reason I didn't pick it up that much after doing it the first couple of times. Here's a piece of jasper. It's always pretty. And this one looks an awful lot like an agate, but I don't think it actually is. Those bands just aren't quite crisp enough. But I don't know what it is. Didn't have to wonder if I was going to take that one home when I found it though. It's a nondescript rock, but plenty shiny. Here's a piece of unakite. Nice piece of unakite. A little different color than some of it has. Most unakite has epidote that's this color. I'm not 100% sure this is unakite, but I'm pretty sure. This is epidote. There's two minerals in unakite. There's epidote, and then the red stuff is feldspar. So this is mostly epidote, and that's the more typical color that you find. This is magnetite, and for the longest time I didn't know what this stuff was, and then I posted it on a Facebook group I belong to. It's called Great Lakes Rocks and Minerals, and people there are pretty good about trying to help you identify your rocks. And they don't always know what they're talking about, so there's a lot of guessing going on, but it's just kind of fun to discuss things. So I've got a little magnet here. And I believe it's the black part that's the magnetite. I'm not sure what the red part is, but you can see that's holding it really well. So, magnetite. Don't know what that is. Or this. So here's one that I brought home, and I just throw them all in the tumbler and see what happens. Sometimes they tumble well and sometimes they don't. This is one that was a little bit of a failure on the tumble. It doesn't have nearly the shine that some other rocks have, but it still has really cool swirls and stuff in it, so not too disappointing. Alright, you see there's several scraps of this in here. This is something I picked up on Drummond Island, which is in Lake Huron. I was on the island near, there's a large quarry on the island. I think it's a dolomite quarry. And this was right on the edge of the quarry. It's not dolomite, I don't know what it is, but I sliced this up. It was a fairly big rock, softball size maybe. And I sliced up, and if you see my cross video, I cut these little stone crosses out, and I used this for a lot of crosses. It kind of looked like wood grain to me, and so I just used it kind of on an angle on the crosses. I do it on a diagonal, looked the best to me, so that's what I use that for. This appears to be banded iron formation or jasperite, so that's jasper and hematite, the gray part being the hematite. Here's another rock that didn't polish up very well, and I honestly don't remember finding this rock, but I remember clearly finding this rock. This is from here in Alpena, and here's the outside of the rock. It's got these little kind of orbs on it, And I was so excited when I found this because this is really unusual for a rock here in Alpena, and I love orbs. And I cut it, and I was still excited, looked great. But when I made stuff out of this, I think I tried to make a pendant for my wife, and I probably tumbled some, and it kind of tumbles like this, which tells me it's probably not a very hard rock. And it's got some shine to it, but it's not that wet look that I get on a lot of rocks. I think it looks better. I'm looking at the screen for the camera, and it looks better on camera than it does in real life, actually. Oh, there was is this the one? Oh, this one has a partner here. Cut that one in half. So, two halves go together like that. And it looks like that gray part looks a little metallic to me. So, not sure what it is, but pretty darn cool rock. And then, gotta find the one that goes with this. Here it is. When I dumped this out, right away I saw this, and I thought, what the heck is that? Why did I cut a rock and drill a hole through it? And then I remembered, this is another scrap from the same project. I made some Pandora style beads for my wife. I bought her a Pandora bracelet, and I cut some beads. So what I do for those, I drill a hole down the middle of them. And then the beads maybe, that thick, they vary a little bit. But when you drill a hole in a rock, when the drill comes out the back side of the rock, it usually blows out some chips. So this was chipped here. You can see it's indented there at the hole. I've tumbled the chips away, but what I did is I just blew out the chips instead of trying to avoid it, and then cut off the end of the rock so the chips would be gone. And then, so picture this with a hole through the middle of it. I put a bolt through there and I clamp it onto my saw, and the blade runs along here, and I just sort of turn the rock into the blade until all the corners get cut off. And then I move it a little bit closer and do the same thing, and I keep doing that until I have a cylinder. So then I can just throw it in the tumbler or shape it on my grinding wheels a little bit. But it turns out to be a pretty cool little Pandora bead. Someday I'll show you, make a video about those. I haven't done that yet. I like that kind of mint green of this one. It's a pretty rock. Little guy. Oh, this one's cool. So look, it's got this tan color, and then on both sides, it's like a little Oreo with these orange parts on both sides. Kind of an unusual color for rocks that I find around here, at least. I don't think I showed you this one yet. All right, there's a few more here, but I think we're getting close to the end of the show. Just push these up so you can kind of see the ones I didn't hold up. It looks a lot like a moss agate. It might actually be a moss agate from Lake Superior. I don't know for sure, but it sure has that mossy quality to it. All right, I think that'll do it for this episode. So as always, I'll put a little slideshow up at the end, and I'll see you next week.